Normally we don't talk through the first lap tonight. Were you going to change that up a little bit, Sam, tonight, just because of the length of just because of Talladega, or are we going to go full lap again, as normal?
Yeah, that's a good point. We can start talking down the back straight. I was going to mention that, Chris, we have a 5-minute warm-up normally after qualifying. Normally we don't lead out the grid until they're doing their pace lap, and probably won't do that until they do the pace lap tonight because it's a long pace lap.
Yep.
This is a race that many other drivers, especially the championship contenders, have had circled on their calendar probably since the start of the season. Just 2 rounds remain after tonight's race, so who is going to come out a hero and who is going to come out with 0 as we arrive at Talladega? Hello everyone and welcome to GSRC's coverage of tonight's Rolling Thunder Racing Series event, live from Talladega Superspeedway. Tonight's event is sponsored by Bid Tracer. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Robert Covey. Behind the scenes is our director Christian Hill, and he's using cameras provided to us by Dougie Beard. Well, this is Talladega Superspeedway, and for many oval racing fans it requires no introduction. That being said, there's a few details that make this track stand out, so let's take you around this large superspeedway with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Talladega Superspeedway. Not satisfied with his incredible accomplishments with Daytona, Bill France Sr. plucked up a plot of land in Alabama east of Birmingham and had one goal: make it faster. At 2.66 miles and with 33 degrees of banking, he succeeded. Not only is the banking steeper and the lap longer than Daytona, but the track itself is wider as well. As you'd expect, this makes for one of the most unique styles of racing motorsports has ever seen. The slipstream allows drivers to stay with one another so easily that it becomes less about the speeds each driver can reach and more about the strategy of racing in a pack. Bump drafting is a technique in which the car behind actually pushes the car in front so that both are able to reach higher speeds. And side drafting is another in which the drivers use the air off the sides of their cars to slow their opponents down. Staying out of trouble is always a difficult aspect of superspeedway racing, and it's not uncommon to see drivers intentionally move to the back of the pack to avoid the chaos. In fact, the high speeds make large wrecks so hard to avoid that the term "the big one" has become commonplace to refer to the almost inevitable multi-car pileups the circuit is known for. Also, entering pit lane is its own skill, which requires practice in order to slow the car up as quickly and safely as possible. Keeping the car clean and in contention is the main goal for much of the event. Then the final few laps, it's a race to the line, with any alliances usually dissolving and the driver's urge to win taking over. Known for gobbling up cars and ruining a driver's good day in the blink of an eye, Talladega truly holds the title of the biggest and baddest track on the NASCAR circuit.
Well, that was a look at the Super Speedway. We'll get to track details in a moment, but first let's take a look at the championship standings, because there's just 3 races left to go and still a lot of points left to play. And there's Dylan Jones, who has the championship lead by quite a little bit of a margin, especially with some recent issues for Daniel Eberhardt. Colin Weatherholt finally got that win, and so he's there in the championship hunt as well. You could probably say that for all top 5 drivers, Ryan Johnson and Scott Crump there. Again, how they fare at Talladega tonight will play a massive role in how they're going to have to race and who's still hopeful heading into next week's penultimate race at Phoenix. Let's take a look at the race details, and we'll hand it over. I can speak tonight to Robert Covey.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, round 18, only 2 more to go after tonight. 85 laps around this phenomenal track in the NASCAR Gen 4, which is going to be a little bit harder to push than most guys are used to. Fixed setup, no spare car if we see a big one. 4 total tire sets, 1 green, white, checkered attempt should we not make it all the way to the checkered flag with 2 to go.
And now we'll bring up our track and detail information here. We just gave you the lap guide, but it's a 2.66 mile super speedway. This is very much when you think of restrictor plate racing, right, you always think of this track and Daytona Super Speedway. Daytona always seems a little bit more organized in a way. There's really only room to go 3 wide there. Talladega, there's enough room to go 8 wide if you want, and so sometimes the packs can get a little bit crazier here, I find. Now, talking about the championship, Robert, one driver who was in practice, but I don't currently see him in the session, is Daniel Eberhardt. Now, we know he was late to the race last week at Kentucky. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of that, because it would be nice to see if he can take this championship fight fair and square to Dylan Jones.
Well, and he did make it last week, but I think he had some technical difficulties because we did get to see him, qualify. He didn't run a qualifier, but he had run some practice, and then he just disappeared on us. And I believe he was having some technical difficulties. He has been known to show up a little bit late, but at this time, with them going into qualifying, I'm a little worried about him at this point.
Yeah, well, qualifying has concluded. There's a 5-minute warm-up session going on right now, but they're doing a driver's briefing first. That's why you don't currently see any cars on track. We'll give you the full grid rundown when we're doing the pace laps here. What we can tell you is that it's Seth Reed who has taken pole position over Jacob Manning, will be your front row. providing everyone, namely Daniel Eberhardt and also Brenton Barker has been in and out of the session a couple of times. If all of the drivers who were in practice start the race, we will have a 22 car field, so a decent field here for tonight's event. Obviously, tyre wear is normally a concern throughout the season, not really going to be the case here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, it's not tires here. It's more, can you hang with somebody? And as I mentioned in the start there, these cars are shaped a little different than what everybody's used to. You're used to seeing the next gens and the trucks, and I mean, they can kind of bump each other and give each other like really good pushes. Here, you can push, but you need to be straight on the car in front of you. You don't want to get left or right. And if you get too much momentum, you can actually lift their rear end right up off the ground. So it's going to be interesting to see how the guys draft tonight.
Yeah, we'll start showing you on-track action as soon as we get it here, as they're finishing up the warm-up. Obviously, probably a couple of extra notes from race direction being handed out to the drivers today, maybe about the bump drafting and obviously about call-in pit entry, because that can always be tricky here at Talladega. The cars are heading out onto the racetrack now for a few minutes remaining of warm-up before we get ready for our 85 lap race here tonight. And a reminder, the 2 races left to go after tonight's event are at Phoenix and Homestead, Miami. So again, this is really the unpredictable one. You really want to set yourself up good in the points. And of course, one of the nice things about these super speedway races, anyone can win it. So those drivers outside of the top 5 in points might be racing a bit more aggressive tonight to try and get a win before the season is out.
Definitely, the maximum points for a driver tonight's 50 points. Lead most laps, win the race, take pole, and I mean there's still a lot of championship implications here with the amount of points that can be acquired over the next 3 rounds. So definitely still a battle in the top 5, but don't count the bottom 5 out yet. This is Talladega, and anything can happen here.
And good news for people who want to see a championship fight and Daniel Eberhardt fans. Daniel Eberhardt has just reconnected to the session, so 2 minutes left of warm-up to spare. Obviously, he'll be starting from the back of the field. But to that point, Dylan Jones will also be starting to the back of the field. But as it says on screen there, this is Talladega. That doesn't really matter. There's plenty of time to get to the front.
Well, it's kind of scary that they're starting at the back, because unlike some of the other tracks that we've raced on, Talladega is all about holding to position and taking advantage when you can. And if somebody doesn't want to go with you, you can be left hung out to dry. And, starting in the back for Dylan and starting in the back for Daniel, they are going to be hard pressed to move themselves forward. It's going to take a lot more work than it would on a shorter track.
Into the final minute of warm-up right now, and just taking a look at the rest of the starting lineup, which will show you shortly. I don't believe our Daytona winner is here. It was Maines who won the season open at Daytona, and he's not here, so looks like we'll have a second super speedway winner here tonight. Taking a look at our weather conditions for tonight's event at Talladega Superspeedway. Nothing too alarming here, Robert. No major winds, so hopefully the biggest threat for these drivers will be the other cars and not the track conditions.
Yeah, 97 degrees, 4-mile-an-hour winds, not even really going to be an issue. The 97, it might go up. But I mean, just the banking and the way Talladega is, they're going to have a lot of grip. And as you mentioned, there's lots of room to go 4 wide. We might see some of that tonight. And you kind of hope for the big one, but they gave us a great show last week with a green flag to checker with no cautions. Would really look forward to seeing them doing that tonight here at Talladega.
Yeah, I think we've had 3 caution-free races so far this season, and the season open at Talladega, I believe they ran most of it clean and green, and then we had a little bit of yellow fever there toward the end. But anyhow, the cars are getting gridded up. Let's show you the order that they'll be taking the green. Starting on pole position will be the number 51 car of Seth Reed. Jacob Manning will be starting to his outside. Scott Crump will be starting from 3rd position ahead of Randall Nichols. Jordan Berube will be starting 5th place, and league organizer Justin Rideout will be starting 6th. Matthew Robinson in 7th ahead of Joshua Suss, and then Ryan Johnson and Michael Larch, the only driver in the top 10 who has a win so far this season. Actually, 2 of them are Jacob Manning in 2nd and Scott Crump in 3rd.
Bringing up row 6, we have Dean Gagliano, William Schwindenhammer. Row 7 has Lane Doyle alongside Luke Smith, with Bo Tiffany and Colin Weatherholt, who had a great race last round and got his first win of the season on row 8. John Lewis alongside Jared Mogard in row 9, and Dylan Jones alongside Drew Ballestros in row 10.
And starting from P18, there are all drivers who didn't turn a lap in qualifying, and don't worry, Daniel Eberhardt is here, I believe, but I guess when these graphics were created, he wasn't in session. But we also have Brenton Barker starting at the back there, so it will be a 22-car field as the pace truck works its way down the back straight here at Talladega.
Yeah, Daniel must still be having some connections issues. I did see him in the session here, but has not taken the grid. I'm sure he's really gutted with that, because he is the major contender in the championship.
I think I do see him. I think I see him at the back there. So I think we've got all 22 of our starters here. What we can tell you is Seth Reed will definitely be the one leading them to green on the inside lane. As the pace truck works his way over through turns 3 and 4. Again, this is going to be an 85 lap race here tonight. Now getting a closer look at the field. And already you can see the number 9 car of Jacob Manning weaving these tyres, trying to get heat into them. And even though these tyres aren't going to wear out per se, and you know, you're not necessarily going to lose time having cold tyres out there, you still want to have a little bit of heat in them. You still want maybe change tyres at some point during the middle of a race, so that you can make moves, cut to the high lane, to the bottom lane, and vice versa, without losing control if you need to, especially in those closing stages. Seth Reed. Seth Reed about to lead the field to green. This is the Rolling Thunder Racing Series, and we are racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. As they complete their run down to the back straight and head into turn 3 for the first time, the outside line was gaining a little bit of momentum down that back straight. A little bit of tandeming going on at the front. I don't know if they are having any rules against it, other than just it's not recommended to really push in the turns with these older cars. And already a couple of drivers there look like they were thinking about 3 wide as we complete lap 1.
Did see quite a few drivers trying to practice and see, how close they could get to the guy, to the driver in front of them, and push, and what kind of pace they could put down with the cars. And you can see here, another thing we haven't really seen a lot of, even back in Daytona, is just everybody's playing really nice here and just kind of saying, okay, we've got time, let's figure out the pushing, and then we'll go from there.
That was Jared Mogard, who was running up on the high lane in that 3rd lane down the back straight, but he's found a gap in line now. Most of the field content to run double file, but not Jared Mogard. He's going 3 wide again. In fact, a couple of drivers trying to think about making that third lane work. Because this track is so much wider than Daytona, you run a lot less risk here, you know, going close quarters with other cars, making it 3 wide, whereas Daytona can get a little bit crowded when you get 3 wide.
Definitely full three, three full lanes here to be able to make moves. But like with any other super speedway with this kind of racing, if you want to go 3 wide, you need to have a friend, or you're going to find the entire pack just pulling past you and leaving you in the dust.
Lane Doyle toward the back of your picture, he's up there up high. He almost grazed a wall over in turns 3 and 4 there, but was able to keep it off. Field coming around, already putting a third lap in the books, and it's still nose to nose between Jacob Manning and Seth Reed. They've pretty much been running side by side for first and second since the drop of the green.
Yeah, nobody really. I think we've seen some guys try and go 3 wide and just kind of feeling out, saying, "Hey, is somebody going to go with me?" And like we see in a lot of these races, it's just patience. Run your line, stay up front, get through there. The question mark for tonight is basically fuel usage, which we didn't get any statistics on that. So it will be interesting to see when we get green flag pit stops. If we get green flag pit stops, how this all comes to order, because as you know, super speedway pit stops, they can cause a lot of penalties, they can cause a lot of chaos, and they can also leave drivers with nobody to run with.
And here we go. This is looking a bit more like a Rolling Thunder Racing series. Had a couple of little technical issues with trading paints now, and now all of your drivers appearing in their favourite colours. So a bit more identifiable now. That's Seth Reed in the grey and black number 51 on the low side, and Jacob Manning up high, getting a nice push from Randall Nichols in that white and blue 69 down the back straight.
Yeah, they were practicing a little bit in during the open session there before we got into the race, and like I said, did see quite a few drivers testing it with other drivers, and also just learning how to push. I'm watching the push here. I don't know if I'd really want to be pushing on that right rear quarter in the turns, but it seems to be working for them right now. They seem to be holding their own. Unfortunately, a couple cars left on the outside aren't really getting anywhere at the moment.
Yeah, and everybody is still part of this lead pack. We do have all 22 starters. They're all covered by 1.2 seconds. Of course, the problem with that is if anything bad does happen, the entire field is in jeopardy. Every now and then you'll get a few cars that elect to drop back and stay somewhere safe. But you know what? These drivers have proven quite trustworthy throughout most of the season. There have been a couple major incidents. And I guess they're content to run like this right now.
If I was in this, I would be the same way, just kind of content if the opportunity presents itself. As we can see, Jared Mogart up there on the outside, don't going 3 wide, trying to get, somebody to come out and help them. They're holding their own, but they just can't gain as much momentum as they need on that outside line. They kind of need somebody to jump up there with them, give them a little push, and give us some very exciting 3 wide racing.
Yeah, Jared Mogard is definitely, I think, a driver I've seen up there on the high side the most, and it's working for him because he started 18th, and he's definitely broke his way into the top 5 now. That's 4th place. Lane Doyle in that pink number 32 machine, he was the one who almost scraped the wall up there a couple of laps ago. So, but you know what? If that's a lane you're going to use later on in the race to try and win it, it's good to be practicing it now.
Yeah, as we see a little bit of 3 wide going on. Looks like these guys here are starting to pull away from the what beautiful shot. These guys are starting to pull away from everybody else. They've kind of got themselves lined up. Just kind of, they open up that gap. It's closed up a little. Field's starting to spread out just a little bit from cars losing the draft and those that are pushing really aggressive.
But it's still the same two side by side, and there you go, a nice view of the 3 wide, and also a nice view of Lane Doyle getting a little bit close to comfort to the wall. Already coming around to complete lap 8. I'll tell you what, if we do stay green, and I understand that is a big if, 85 laps are going to click off in a hurry here.
Well, you would think, yeah. I mean, they are going to click off quick. You'd think they'd click off a lot quicker. But I mean, just the size of Talladega, and a lot of people say, run this track, and maybe they say, oh, well, it's not that bad. I mean, look at it; it's huge, it's long. But I mean, when you're, somebody like Justin Rideout, sitting in the middle there with cars in front of you, cars beside you, cars behind you, it is taxing. It is hard mentally, and it really does take a lot of work to hold that car in that position.
So the high line started to get a bit of momentum. Randall Nichols saw it and jumped up ahead of Jared Mogard, but now is he going to be able to be a good leader? This is his first time out in front with no cars in front of him right now, and Lane Doyle thinking about going down into that middle lane. So it's Randall Nichols and Jared Mogard there up high on their own as Lane Doyle rejoins them.
Yeah, guys starting to make a few moves now here as yeah, their laps are whoa, a big move there by Ride out there, really came off the rear end of that other car. But yeah, everybody kind of feeling out. We got 3 lanes going here, nice and strong, losing a few cars in the back, but that's all going to get shuffled around because they are going to have to make pit stops here tonight, despite the fact that it is only 85 laps.
Yeah, definitely limited on the fuel, obviously. Tyres, not a concern. The entire field still covered by about 1.1 seconds, and curiously enough, it's our 2 points leaders still at the very back of the pack. They understand that, and it's probably, for Dylan Jones, it's probably a comfort thing to be around Daniel Eberhardt. That way, at least if they're on the same bit of track together, if Jones gets taken out in a wreck, maybe Eberhardt will too.
Well, and that is the scary thing about everybody driving together like this is, somebody makes a mistake up front. I mean, Talladega is like you can see down the backstretch, all the room they have to try and get out of the way. But these aren't cars that you can just simply slam on the brakes or weave around a wreck in front of you. So I'm sure everybody from, at least 10th, I mean, even, Justin Rideout and those guys right there are praying that a mistake doesn't happen by somebody up front with a bad push and just kind of takes out half the field because, again, no fast repairs tonight. You could find some drivers sitting in the pits for a fair amount of time.
By the way, that yellow car there is Michael Larch. I know we were talking about paints a moment ago. A couple of new paints out there, I think. But the one that's caught my eye is we haven't really had the yellow car all season, but that's Michael Larch with a very yellow hood, in case you were wondering who that was back there in the middle of the field.
Well, I mean, a name we've said a few, throughout the season. He is currently 7th in the championship. 109 back from the leaders, but there is still 150 points available max over the next 3 rounds. And so, if he's there and something catastrophic happens for, or just anything bad happens for all those in the championship above him, he has a distinct opportunity to really put himself in the hunt over this round and the next 2.
Second half of the field breaking up a little bit. Dylan Jones, the points lead, actually, I think, must have rolled out the throttle a bit to let the pack get in front of him. There are some cars where if you let, the field get, I don't know, half a second or so in front of you, you're doomed. You're dropping back. Dylan Jones has got to be careful, and now there's a fear of anyone running at the very back has to be careful that, if there's a big stack up and they roll out the gas just a little bit too much, if something like that causes them to lose a draft, that could make their afternoon a very long one.
Well, and it is, yeah, it's so many things can happen here, and it is longer, but Talladega is like Daytona. Drivers will start to get aggressive. Drivers will want to start to move forward. And despite the fact that you've got 3 full lanes, even 4 and 5, if you really want to push the issue, anything can happen here, and it will happen so fast with just the speed these drivers are running around the track right now.
Riding on board Scott Crump, getting some looks of our onboards here as he stays on top of a steering wheel. That is Seth Reed and that 51, the race leader that he's currently working with. Obviously not in a hurry to get by him right now, and probably feeling a little bit of wind. Jacob Manning is up to his high side, giving him a side draft. We might see the front end of that number 9 stick out in front of the A pillar there, or maybe not. because the inside line's kind of coming back through turns 1 and 2. But Scott Crump on full focus right now. And now actually the middle lane is going there. You see Jacob Manning pulling up alongside Seth Reed in front.
Yeah, and you can see that, it's not as simple as everybody thinks, you're just, it's just a track. But I mean, you can see how he's moving that wheel. It's, at these speeds and trying not to slam into the car in front of you and maybe try and find a way that you're going to be able to get around them. You still got to work. You still got to hold that car in place. It's not going to drive itself around the track. And you can see every once in a while there, just a little jiggle, just catching the car and placing it where it needs to be.
That third lane has dropped back up there. Randall Nichols kind of got out in front of it a while ago and never really made a massive challenge after that. But you know what? Early days, everyone's going to venture up there at some point. So we're back to double file. The whole field still covered by 1.2 seconds as they work their way down the back straight for the 16th time. I don't have the fuel numbers in front of me, but normally here at a super speedway, you're looking around 30 laps. So about halfway through the fuel run here.
Well, and that was the thing. They remember they have limited fuel, so whether or not they impose the fuel limit on the cars for Talladega, again, we didn't get the fuel information for this race, which is great. It kind of keeps us, keeps us out in the air here till the first set of pit stops. But definitely, they will be coming up. Force it. They try and split this that the drivers have to pit 3 times to make this entire event. So we should be seeing pit stops probably around, I would think lap 30. How's that work out? Lap 20? My math is terrible.
Yeah, somewhere between lap 20 and 25 would work out to 3-stop strategy. Just what there's a couple of drivers dancing toward the back. Yeah, that's and down onto the apron there. That's just them fighting to keep it going in a straight line. Though it doesn't look like anyone's committing to the pits yet. One thing that will be obvious for us here as spectators to the iRacing session that we'll try and relay to the viewers at home is that communication is going to be key when pit stops do come up, and we'll be able to tell you when the drivers are talking to another ahead of that first round of pit stops.
Yeah, we do get the internal communication, but I mean, again, I hate, there is really no comparison between Daytona and Talladega. But when you're
Oh, Lane
plate
Doyle,
racing,
I think Lane Doyle got a big piece of a wall there. He's been flirting with it all night long, and he's going to be, he might have lost the draft here. We'll see if the damage to his car is bad, but the worst thing here would be if he can't keep with the main pack. Yeah, that his right side is definitely scratched up.
yeah, you can see the right front tire there kind of poking out from the bodywork. Not supposed to be like that. So he's really going to lose the pack here. Might be beneficial for him. He may go down a lap, but maybe beneficial to make his way around, jump in the pits, get that repair. That advantage of Talladega is, as we see somebody getting left out in the cold there. That's Jacob Manning. Kind of got left out there, allowing Justin Rideout to get up front. He got stuck in the middle. But yeah, maybe pit now, get that repair done. Don't go down a lot of laps and get his car back out on track and try and grab the draft.
Yeah, that was Justin Rideout got a massive run on Jacob Manning, and Matthew Robinson went with him and gave him a bump. And the reason Justin Rideout is leading now is because of Matthew Robinson. But Matthew in that 34 kind of got abandoned there up high with Michael Larch. Once Justin Rideout got by Jacob Manning, he moved back down to the middle lane. So Robinson and Larch are still there trying to work a high side. But yeah, for the first time, Jacob Manning is not leading that middle line.
Yeah, shuffling of the deck there, and I mean, that's where it comes in. Is if you get a run and somebody's willing to allow you to go around them, or you manage to make that move. Like right now with the third line out there, if Jacob if Jacob were to pull up right in front of that third line, he'll get a huge push and maybe be able to come back around in front of Justin. Unfortunately, 2 cars against a full bottom line and 5-car second line, gonna have to wait for that opportunity.
Seth Reed continues to be the Pied Piper down low. And now the high line is coming back in again, and we've got 4 cars up high, so it's got a bit of momentum going for it now. Matthew Robinson leading Michael Larch up on the high side. The Larch had a bit of a moment. This car is so unstable, and that's Daniel Eberhardt, who had been riding around at the back, but now he's decided he wants to make his move to the front. So throw Eberhardt into this mix now.
Well, we never count him out, even when he starts in the back. He always seems to manage to find his way up front. Currently running in 7th, and I mean, the last time I looked at my timing screen, he was in 21st, and now halfway up the field, and continuing to move forward.
Yeah, Dylan Jones just set the fastest lap, and actually you see him coming up through the middle now. Seth Reed was the leader at the line last time by. Justin Rideout leading as they go down to the back straight. They're going to continue to trade that lead on. Justin Rideout almost looking like he wanted to go down low. I'll tell you what, this is starting to get a little bit dicey. They have been running a nice 2x2 formation for a little bit, but now things are starting to get a bit antsy, and drivers not leaving each other as much room. We still have 21 cars in this pack. Lane Doyle, who lost the draft, is currently running several seconds a lap slower after his incident.
Well, and this is where I wish we had the fuel information, because those top 2 lines are going to get stuck out there if everybody wants to come in for a pit. The bottom line is in control of pit stops right now. So I mean, you could really mess up those other lines if you kind of hold them out there. And here we go.
Yeah. And big hit into the wall for Michael Larch, but we're still green. That has not brought out the caution, and the blown engine on the 34, the rest of the field need to get going here, because we're still racing.
Wow, I'm really surprised the yellow didn't come out there, but it is one of the changes with iRacing. If they manage to be off the racing line, the caution will not fly. So we are going to continue to race here. This is really going to spread this field out and give the advantage and some opportunity for a few drivers while this all gets sorted.
Jacob Manning was slowing down, I think, dragging the brakes to try and reform the first pack, and the cars behind him didn't realize what he was doing and ran into him, and boy, there's only 7 cars. They have no reason to be racing like this, but there's a pack of 7 here leading the field, and then everyone else who trekked up for the wreck because they thought there would be a caution is 8th on back.
Yeah, and Justin finds himself in the front here, leading the one that everybody has had circled from the start of the season. He creates this calendar, and nice to see him out front here and taking the lead and taking away a few points from some drivers for sure.
Michael Larch heading to the pits. Matthew Robinson's already there, so they're going to be our 2 drivers who aren't really going to be able to continue at this point. Lane Doyle is still out there half a lap down. 2 other drivers who have lost the draft of a second pack are Bo Tiffany and Drew Ballesteros. But again, I think there's a lot of drivers out there right now hoping for a quick caution to try and reform the main pack. But right now, these 7 are the ones who have gotten away with it.
He got away with it, and again, I'm really surprised the caution didn't come out here. Got away with it, but they haven't really let up. They're still, pushing each other hard. They're right up on each other's bumpers, and I mean, the more of a gap they can build to everybody behind them, that gives them more opportunity later on in the race to not have to worry about somebody else.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the 7 drivers in this field. None of them are really fighting at the top end points. A couple of them are having good point seasons, such as Jordan Berube, but not really in the championship fight. So each of the drivers you see on screen here is going to be fighting for the win.
Yeah, one of the drivers up there that made it through that is William Schwindenhammer, our winner from last week. And, winning, like anything else, once you win one, you want to win that other one. And I'm sure he'd like to see that second win tonight, as we're on board here with Jordan Berube. Or no, that is William.
Yeah, that was...
Sorry about that.
And it was Weatherholt who won last time out at Kentucky. But yeah, William Schwindenhammer actually gave a little bit of a bad bump to the car in front of him down the front straight, and they all got out of line for a little moment, but they've regrouped now.
Yeah, my apologies. That was my mistake. I forgot that it was Weatherholt that got his first win of the season. William running here good tonight, up in this pack, enjoying it there, and looking very, very comfortable. Not a lot of wheel work, just kind of holding his own, sticking where he can, and maybe make a move later on, being up here with the front of the pack.
Now, the second pack is running the same lap times as the cars in front leading right now. But to that point, Dylan Jones had been leading the second pack, and he elected to drop back in the pack. And the reason he did that is because a couple of drivers, Jones included, did pick up a little bit of front end damage in that big check-up that happened. So Colin Weatherholt, who was our winner last week at Kentucky, he is currently leading that second pack, and we'll be keeping an eye on the times because they're running a lot cleaner than this lead pack is. They just got a little bit double file, but we'll see if they're able to make any inroads. Right now, they're actually losing a bit of time, though.
Yeah, they really want to, I'm really surprised. You see basically, Daniel Eberhardt and Jones out there, Eberhardt pushing them. They were having really good momentum when they were all in a single file, and it looks like they're going to try and push each other out here to the front of this line. If they were all single file, they have a much better opportunity of catching this pack, which looks like they've figured that out. They've got it sorted the way they want, and they're going to go after that front pack now.
Yeah, I just don't know why they're pushing Jones to the lead, because look at his right front fender. He picked up damage from that big stack up. So surely that's not the fastest car out there right now.
Definitely going to hinder him, but with the nice long line behind him, and they need the opportunity to get around him where they're not going to get hung out to dry. And I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe not now, but a little bit earlier, Eberhardt jump up in front of Brian Barker there and say, okay, let's take this line and let's get a faster car up front.
Now you can see the lead pack in turns 3 and 4 running double files. These guys try and catch up with them, but it's just not working. They're quite a fair bit slower. The battle's still continuing, by the way, for the lead between Seth Reed and Justin Rideout. Keep swapping it back and forth. As we have hit lap 30 now, so right now definitely just looking like a 2-stop race.
Well, yeah, they must have, again, we didn't really get any fuel numbers, and that was basically, I guess, because they are going to be able to run so long here on the fuel load that they have. But I mean, this is beneficial for the front pack as well as the back pack, maybe even more so with the back pack, with the front pack running 2x2. That if they choose to pit, they will all come in a straight line, and somebody on this outside line in the front pack might get hung out.
So Lane Doyle has gone a lap down, running out there with damage. Again, 2 other cars have lost the draft, Bo Tiffany and Drew Ballesteros. So they'll all be hoping for caution before they all get lapped 1 or 2 more times. But before that happens, we'll see if we get some green flag pit stops here, because surely they're closing in on them, and the top 7 still running double file. This will make green flag stops a bit easier now that the field's broken up into 2 main packs.
Yeah, I am hearing a little bit of chatter on the radio. Unfortunately, I should turn it up just a little bit, but I think we might be looking at pit stops coming up here shortly.
It would make sense for that second pack. They're mostly single file, so I wonder if they're getting ready for it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to check and see if I...
Some of them are coming in. The guys at the tail end of the second pack coming down pit road this time by, so we're into that pit window.
Well, and the rest of the field going purple right now on my timing screen, so they've actually picked up the pace. But so we're looking at around 32. Those guys, they might go for the extra 1 or 2. Maybe they'll get out of it. The way they've been hooked up here for a little while, but we definitely expect to see the front end of this pack come into the pits shortly.
Randall Nichols was definitely speeding on pit entry. He actually ended up having to go into the grass, so that's going to mess everything up for Randall Nichols. He's going to get a speeding penalty and held there for an extended period of time and lose the draft. There come the leaders around to put a lot of these drivers a lap down. And look how spread out everyone who pitted at the tail end of that second pack is. You want to be a lot closer than that.
Yeah, you don't want to lose the draft here. You always want to have a friend. But tonight, you know, I mean, we've seen them run really well, but I mean, tonight is one of those nights where you really, really want those friends, and you're going to try and really take advantage of and say, look, if you help me, I'll help you later, and let's sort everything out when we've got 5 laps to go.
So this lead pack of 7 still hasn't pit, and then the second pack, there's still 6 cars out there running single file, yet they continue to lose time to the first pack, and part of me thinks that's because they're letting Scott Crump lead. I said Dylan Jones had damage to his front, but Scott Crump is now leading that second pack, and he has a bit of damage to the front of his car too.
Yeah, the damage may not be affecting as much as you know, sometimes we think it does, just depending on how that fender is actually buckled, or you know, how the damage model for iRacing has actually done it. They still may, like, I'm looking at lap times here, and I mean, they haven't really fallen off from, you know, the start of this race. Everybody's pretty much running the same pace. So as we said, tires not really an issue. It's all about where you can be, who's your friend, and who is not your friend.
So the second pack here is now a mixture of cars that have already pit and cars that still need to pit. So we had a lot of cars coming on lap 30, but some drivers, I mean, if you can make it a lap 42 or 43, you could one-stop it, but I doubt that's happening. It's rare that one of these cars can get 40 laps at Talladega.
I'm hearing, I believe they are pitting this time around. I'm just hearing a little bit of chatter on the radio, so we'll see if they come down pit lane this time around.
Yeah, the lead pack has been running double file for a long time, but now they're all single file. So we've already seen the 69 car of Randall Nichols. He's 2 laps down now because of speeding on pit entry. Let's hope none of these drivers do it. Big moment for Seth Reed, who's been dominating the race. Looks like these guys all did it well.
Yeah, I managed to get those cars slowed down. Saw a lot of smoke coming out from some of those cars. But everybody, I believe, got in cleanly. I'm not seeing any flags, so I think everybody got away with it. But you know, this other pack's, you know, look who's leading the pack now.
Yeah, I was sorry watching Jordan Berube there. He overshot his pit stall and then had to back up twice. And I mean, all of these drivers, I think they're doing 2 tire stops, and Jordan Berube is going to be quite far behind that pack now. So he may end up losing the draft off of these guys, as Seth Reed leads them back out there on track with Justin Rideout. So the second pack still hasn't pit. They're coming in now, or most of them are coming in now. Daniel Eberhardt is coming into the pits. Actually, yes, that is the I think all of the remaining leaders down into the pits.
Yeah, I went that extra lap. So, you know, if we go on that, it's 37 laps. So one more stop after this, maybe for a shorter fuel load, as we see another car overshoot his pit box, and that's going to cost him.
Yes, Jared Mogard. I think John Lewis did it as well.
Yeah, and this is one of those ones where, I mean, when you pit as a pack like that, you pit 5 or 6 cars, you know, all in a row, and somebody messes up, it really plays with the order and whether or not you get out there and have somebody to run with. As we can see the pack coming up on all these guys that are currently coming out of the pits.
Yeah, and the car's on track, so it looks like Seth Reed and Justin Rideout are going to have a pretty healthy lead, a tandem in together there. The good news about the amount of mistakes we saw is you're not alone if you made a mistake here. Maybe those drivers who did lose a bit of time on their stop are going to be able to regroup and form a little pack about 5-10 seconds back of leaders themselves.
Well, and this is where it comes into who's your friend, who's your not, who wants to move forward, who wants to get up there and create a large pack of 20 cars, sorry, 16 cars all in the lead lap, build that pack up, and then start doing some battling. And everybody running nice and single file here, trying to get up as much speed as they can and see if they, can pull that, pull away or pull forward. Just as long as they stay in a line in that, they're going to have some of the fastest lap times of everybody on track.
Yeah, so this is the second pack we're currently watching. The first pack is currently being led by William Schwindenhammer, and they're halfway down the back straight right now. Actually, here they are coming into turn 3. So again, we've got 6 leaders in this pack, as well as a couple of lapped cars who are hanging on for the draft.
Well, and this front pack here, 2x2, you can watch you watch those numbers from Colin Weatherhold on back. They're clicking down and they're getting closer and closer to this pack as long as they run that single file. And this front pack here decides to go 2 and 3 wide, as Justin Rideout is the guy that gets hung out to dry here this time, as they go up down his left side and his right side and leave him behind the rest of the pack.
Yeah, so currently the cars that have run into trouble, Michael Larcher and Matthew Robinson had that accident earlier on. Lane Doyle is 2 laps down after he hit the wall pretty hard earlier on. Randall Nichols, Bo Tiffany, and Drew Ballesteros all 1 lap down. Randall Nichols had that speeding penalty. Drew Ballesteros and Bo Tiffany lost the draft when that big trek-up happened. The other driver who really lost out during this round of stops is John Lewis. John Lewis must have had some mistake on pit road because he's lost the draft. Other than that, the top 15 have all found a pack to run in. There's a lead pack, there's a second pack from 7th to 11th position, and then there's a third pack with 4 cars in it: Ryan Johnson, Luke Smith, Joshua Suss, and Jared Mogard.
Well, and I am watching I'm watching the timing. I'm watching the numbers for that from the pack that Colin Weatherhold is running, and there's a little stutter here and there. Maybe a car kind of gets out of line, but they're closing this gap really fast. It's gone from over 5 seconds, clicking its way down to only being about 3.5 seconds away from this lead pack. So definitely something we can see them up there running with them within the next, I'm thinking 3 to 4 laps.
Yeah, no, that would be exciting to see, and to make it even more exciting, the third pack is actually running faster than the, as well. They're running faster than the second pack, so all 3 packs could merge into one super Pangea here in, like I say, about 5 to 10 laps or so.
Well, and if you take into, what we were saying earlier, that, these front runners, Jacob Manning, Seth Reed, Barker, Schwindenhammer, you look at the backpack being led by Colin Weatherholt, Jones, Crump, Eberhardt. These are championship drivers. These are drivers that want to win the championship. They're in contention to battle and go for it. And the last thing they want to do tonight is see that those other 6 drivers possibly take points away from them.
Yeah, the lead pack, though, running side by side right now. They're... that's not the fastest way to run around here, and that gap is 3 seconds to this train that Colin Weatherholt is pulling around, and then you can see the third train there also running single file, and we got one car that's blown up down the back straight.
I just missed who that was. That is
Matthew Robinson. Yeah, so he was a guy who was in that crash earlier. Got back out there after repairs, but not going any further, I don't think.
Yeah, I believe he's probably going to bring this thing into the pits, and unfortunate for him, that will probably be his night. But back up here, with our leaders here, again, running side by side here, they've got to see this other pack and just see how they're running there. 5 of them lined up straight in a row, and they are taking almost 0.7 of a second per lap into this lead pack.
Yeah, look at that. 5 seconds covering 1st to 15th. So all 3 packs slowly merging together. It's fun to just watch that bottom number to Jared Mogard. It's from 4.7, 4.6, 4.5. They're all coming.
Yeah, and they're coming in a hurry. You look at the numbers and see how quick they're clicking down. You go, oh, that 2.9 seconds is going to disappear very quickly, especially this front pack now going 3 wide and breaking up a lot of air and really slowing their own momentum. Maximum 3 cars in a line here with 5 cars lined up head to stern coming up behind them.
Yeah, so some 3 wide action going on. It continues to be Seth Reed and Jacob Manning who have been pacing most of the time. That 35 is Bo Tiffany, so if he gets pushed out front, he'll actually be on the tail end of a lead lap. He's not racing for the lead right here. He's racing for the lucky dog position in the event of a caution. But also there are team alliances out here, and he could be helping out some friends as... and now I think that front pack is finally starting to get an idea of what's going on, because a lot of them just dropped down low and realized that that second pack is coming for them.
Well, and we may even have helped them a bit. We know a lot of a lot of these drivers have friends, family that watch this broadcast, and maybe pick up the phone and go, hey, on the broadcast they're saying you guys, you need to do this. So I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of that going on now as they are starting to get it sorted out. As Justin Rideout rides behind the lapped car, kind of keeping him up there in contention to get his lap back. Should a caution come out, or maybe even just push him out front and give him his lap back?
Brenton Barker always has his virtual crew chief sitting in the background in his camera shots. I wonder if he has him today, if we're able to pull up his webcam there and see maybe he's watching our broadcast and letting Brenton know what we're saying. Because, that there are a few drivers that normally are running a bit further back in the field, such as Brenton Barker and William Schwindenhammer, who have been running strongly up front tonight, and it's always good to see tracks like this. By the way, we haven't gave a shout out to just how fast these cars are going. They're hitting 200 miles an hour entering turn 3. These cars are getting up there when they're racing in the pack.
Well, and that's what we said. They said drafting wasn't a big issue with these cars. It's not like today, but I mean, on a track like Talladega, the way these cars are designed and just the angle of them, that front car does a really good job of splitting that air because of just the shape of it. And if you're tucked in behind, 2, 3, 4 back, you're not really pushing any air, and you can really, really get these cars up to a high pace.
And currently got the focus on Jacob Manning here, who was fighting for the lead a moment ago, but has dropped back into 5th position, starting to go up high. By the way, I think we can officially say that these two packs are about to merge together. The second and the third pack have merged together. They're all one big single file train right now. And here we are riding on board the first car in that second pack, Colin Weatherholt, last week's winner at Kentucky. And you can see just how much closer he is starting to get. He's probably starting to feel that draft from the pack in front.
Definitely gonna, clicking around 1 second back. As soon as he goes under that 1 second, they're gonna start feeling that draft. Then the decision comes from that pack in front of them. It comes from them. Are they gonna take it 3 wide since they're running so great and try and just kind of railroad around these other 2 lines? Or are they going to try and just kind of hook up and run around until the next cycle of pit stops? Colin's not known to be a patient man. I could see him, as long as everybody's going to go with him, kicking up and making this 3 wide and just continuing this train. As you can see him move up the track here as they come out of the corner. Looks like that's what he's looking for.
And what we're not seeing from this nose on board is that Colin Weatherholt, when he got the draft, it pulled him away from that second pack. The second pack is still coming, but he basically was a magnet. It pulled him right up to the front pack and kind of separated him away from his own pack. And I wonder if that's because Dylan Drone is that second car in that second pack. And remember, he has that bit of front end damage, so I'm wondering if it's going to be harder now for Jones and the rest of the cars. And so much happened when that accident happened. Jones might not even realize that he's got damage, and so Eberhardt might not know he's got damage. He might be saying, Jones, why can't you go faster? Not realize that there's a little kink in the front nose of that number 3 car. But here we go, they caught the lead pack anyway. By the way, these cars can all make it 35 laps on fuel as lapped car goes high for them here. They can all pit and make it to the end right now if they wanted to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure now that they've got themselves all lined up here, nobody's really thinking about a fuel stop right now. All they're thinking about is, moving themselves forward as here we go. Everybody has caught everybody, and we are back to what we were looking like when this race started, except we've got a few contenders in the championship up there that are going to want to get themselves up front.
That was John Lewis, by the way, who went a lap down. That's his first lap down. He lost the draft during that round of green flag pit stop. So, but the problem for John Lewis is that Bo Tiffany is up here at the front of this pack. And, if a caution comes out at the wrong time for him, Bo Tiffany might get the lucky dog. And then John Lewis, it will still be trapped a lap down. So Bo Tiffany is actually kind of leading this pack, leading that inside, but he's not racing for the lead. Right now, the race leader is obviously Justin Rideout because he's got the 8 car in front, but then it's actually Seth Reed is the leader of the lead lap cars on the inside.
Well, and I know from personal experience, as long as he's going to run out there and he's got the pace and he can be pushed, Seth Reed's going to be okay with it. Say, fine, you be up there for now. I know you're a lap down. There's no reason for you to get out of my way as long as you can run nice and clean and keep all our momentum down here on the lower line. But I'm sure if for any reason whatsoever he happens to step out, they're not going to be afraid to put him in the middle of the pack and swallow him up.
So all 15 lead lap cars are covered by a second in this massive pack working their way down the back straight. 4 cars 1 lap down. Bo Tiffany, Drew Ballesteros, Randall Nichols and John Lewis. And all of them are in this lead pack. So a massive number of cars in this lead pack as we approach 32 laps left to go here at Talladega.
Well, as you said, laps clicking off really quick here. Again, we didn't have the fuel numbers, but looking like basically, one more stop, and that's going to be it for tonight. Everybody running clean, and with the size of Talladega, we saw that incident, but no caution. Really hurt a few drivers, but they've managed to get everything all gathered up here. Unfortunate for Drew Ballesteros. Randall Nichols, John Lewis, but everybody else still up here in contention to be able to move forward and take this race.
And tonight's Rolling Thunder Racing Series event being brought to you by Bid Tracer as our presenting sponsor. As Colin Weatherholt looked like he almost got loose or something there. Maybe a bad bump from Jordan Berube behind him. Pushed him up into the 3rd line, but he's able to get back down there in line and put another lap in the books. Again, we're beyond halfway. We're in the final pit window, but obviously it doesn't look like any intentions from any of the drivers to pit now because they're all double file.
Well, and this is it, right? Now we've got a single pit window. We've got drivers that went a lap further last time, possibly even 2. I can't remember. I believe it was 2 laps. Less time on pit road. Don't have to take as much fuel. So definitely can shuffle the field around here when we do come around to the point where they actually have to pit. But I think at this round where everybody's sitting right now, they're going to run these tanks as dry as they possibly can.
So there are 19 cars in this pack. There's a 15 lead lap cars and all 4 cars 1 lap down in this pack. 2 cars are out of a race, Lane Doyle and Matthew Robinson. It's Daniel Eberhardt has a big moment through the corner, but is able to keep it going. There is 1 car on track that is not part of a draft, and that is Michael Larch, who's multiple laps down. Why do I bring that up? Because the entire pack is about to catch him in turns 3 and 4. Hopefully, Larch will go up high here and let them all by low.
And yeah, in that pretty yellow car, I think you cursed him, Sam. But in that pretty yellow car, and he's just got to watch this pack completely the railroad him around him. And I mean, I've been there, and I know how gut-wrenching it can be to see that entire pack just fly by.
It's And he'll try and get a hold of a draft here. I think one of the problems Michael Arch has, though, is he's got a bit of damage to that machine, so might be difficult for him to be able to keep up with this pack, even if he does get the draft. Ooh, Schwindenhammer down on the apron.
Yeah, big wiggle there. A little bit too hard of a push there from Seth Reed onto our lapped car. Got a little wiggle up front there. That could have been very, very disastrous. Because as I mentioned, you can push these cars, but if you push too hard, you'll lift that rear end up off the ground. You can see how the car kind of angles, and they can get right up underneath that rear end, lift those rear tires off the ground, even a quarter of an inch, and your grip is gone.
So that's continues to be Bo Tiffany leading the inside lane and Justin Rideout leading the outside lane. Seth Reed, 51, the leader of the cars on the inside, but things are starting. And there we go. That's Eberhardt and Weatherholt. And this does bring out a caution.
And Jones.
But they don't hit the wall. They haven't hit anything yet.
Wow, I just saw that occurring, and I don't know. I have to wait for the replay, but I think that was I think Weatherholt was the starter of that, trying to make a move. Or sorry, yeah, Eberhardt.
No, yeah, Weatherholt tried to go up high and then came back down low. When he did that, he backed out and Eberhardt got into the back of him. Eberhardt did pick up that punch on the nose from where he spun down into the car on the inside of him. So the good news, obviously, a big track Talladega, he'll be able to sit in the pits and get some optional repairs done under caution here.
Well, and the bad news for him here too is, everybody out. This is it. That everybody's going to pit, probably even take tires, and we're going to get our replay here of just what happened to cause this chaos and bring out this caution.
Yeah, Weatherholt is the green car. He tries to go high, thinks the better of it, and goes down low. And it's because the 18 got a bit loose in front of him. That causes a stack up. Randall Nichols gets into Eberhardt and spins him. That's Drew Ballesteros in the 54 who gets up and gets into Weatherholt. So a lot of cars hit other cars, but nobody slammed hard into the wall. Nobody got T-boned. And so I think we're going to be able to have all 15 of our lead lap. Okay, a little bit.
There's the T-bone.
Yeah.
Well, and as I said, you saw just, as soon as you get underneath the rear of that car, if he's slower than you, the rear tires just come right up off the ground. And I mean, you're just at the mercy of the car at that point.
Bo Tiffany, and trying to work out if he was in front of a pack at the time. Did he get the lucky dog, or I'll find out for you there. But obviously, watching Randall Nichols overshoots his pit stall, but you can get away with that under caution here. You're not going to lose a draft.
I do see Bo Tiffany on the lead lap on my updated timing screen. So I think he might have got his lap back here, taking the extra lap with the caution out, and put him back on the lead lap in contention with the rest of the pack. But unfortunately, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, Mogart, Colin Weatherholt, all sent to the rear of the field, really, with damage on their cars.
Yeah, so you're right. Bo Tiffany was ahead of Justin Rideout when the caution flew. So he got his lap back the hard way. There's still going to be a lucky dog handed.
Got your mic breaking up there a little bit, Sam. Yeah, there is still the lucky dog, and the drivers have the ability. They can move forward. So I believe Randall Nichols will get the lucky dog this round. We'll have to see what the stewards decide on this one, on possibly who gets the end of field. I haven't really heard anything. I'm just looking now. So Dylan Jones, our championship leader, Colin Weatherholt third, Daniel Eberhardt in second, Ryan Johnson, all top 5 contenders other than Scott Crump, who was the lucky man, are now under the top 10.
Yeah, it was John Lewis who got the lucky dog. So Randall Nichols and Drew Ballesteros are still trapped 1 lap down. But I have a feeling this race is going to start to get a little bit more chaotic, and there might be 1 or 2 more opportunities for them to get a lucky dog. And now, again, the nice news for the drivers involved in the incident is they've been able to get a lot of repairs done, and some of them will be rolling out of the pits here to make sure they don't go a lap down to the pace car.
Well, and the sad again, the sad part of that is you've got this is probably it, unless the oh, hold on, I'm just hearing some instruction. I didn't hear the EOL who they have actually bidded as cause of that one. I think they might have let that one pass. But I mean, the biggest thing is here now is everybody's full of fuel. Everybody that stopped, I do need to check. I think they took full 4 tires.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You're under caution, might as well take 4 tires here. I think that's what I saw a lot of cars do. I haven't seen an EOL handed out either. I wouldn't if they have to hand it to someone, I would say it has to go to Weatherholt. Because he was going to make a move and then he backed out of it, and that caught everyone off guard and caused a stack up. But I think that's kind of just a racing deal, and currently no one's being given an EOL.
Yeah, I believe that's it. That was the decision. Is that that was just that was just hard racing, a little bit of a checkup, and it kind of got out of hand. Lost a couple drivers, but the lights are out on the pace track. They're going to come around and they're going to go through this all again. But we have our championship contenders at the back of the pack and some drivers that would really like to see a win tonight running up front, like Seth Reed and Jacob Manning.
Yeah, most of the cars look okay. Some of them still have a couple of dents in them, but for the most part, they're all right. And obviously, if you're at the back of this pack, then the draft is your friend anyway. As long as your toe isn't completely askew, you're going to be able to run okay. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of these cars, most of these cars, if not all of these cars, able to hold onto the lead pack until the next incident happens. And we've got 24 laps left to go to see if something like that will occur.
Yeah, I see them all lined up nicely here, getting ready to get underway. Seth Reed in control of the field here. See whether or not he's going to try and get a launch on Jacob Manning. And there goes the pedal, and here we go. See if we can get this to the checker flag without another caution coming out.
By the way, the 18 that got a little out of shape that may have caused Weatherholt to go up high, that's Drew Ballesteros. You see he's still there, restarting 8th place in that white car at the back of your picture. So there we see Seth Reed, Scott Crump leading the inside, and Jacob Manning and Justin Rideout leading the high side. There's Brenton Barker and William Schwindenham in the 17, thinking about going 3 wide. Drew Ballesteros behind him, Jordan Berube in the 22, haven't mentioned him. And it's the 39 who's going to kick off that 3rd lane. That's Luke Smith.
Yeah, I definitely believe we're going to see some 3-lane racing here now, as they come down with math again, 32 to go once they cross the line. And, big push out on the outside here. But Jacob Manning, I'm sure this is another one. I'm sure he'd like to put another win underneath his belt, and wouldn't be a more prouder moment than to take a win here at Talladega. But we're going to go 3 wide here, and we're going to contest this thing by the looks of it right up until the last lap.
Yeah, 22.5 laps left to go as they go down the back straight, and it's pretty much 3 wide throughout the whole front of a pack. By the way, nobody has dropped off of this lead pack, so it looks like everyone's car is still able to run with the pack, with the exception of Michael Larch, but he's already multiple laps down. So here we go. The middle lane with Jacob Manning leading is the one that's getting out front as they go through the tri-oval.
Yeah, running a little bit cleaner front to back. Got some cars that are deciding to say, you know what, let's go this middle line. Let's make these lines even. Some great side-by-side here. You see them going up there trying to get that side draft. But trying to be careful and push that car in front of you. Some really close side drafting here, but it can really make for some sketchy moments.
These cars hitting over 200 miles an hour with 22 laps left to go. Now you see the two Mountain Dew machines working up together on the high side. Ryan Johnson, haven't really mentioned him at all tonight. Jordan Berube has now gone up high as well. So lots of drivers using different strategies, and still our 2 points leaders, Dylan Jones and Daniel Eberhardt, electing to stay at the back of a lead pack.
Yeah, just hoping something like that doesn't happen again. As we can see, Justin Rideout leading this outside pack. And, just saying, okay, somebody come with me. Let's get lined up. The momentum is there. You can get so much momentum down the back straight here. As long as you can maintain it through the corners, they're just going to go back and forth here. As we get the onboard here from Justin's camera, you can see just the focus forward. He's got his hat blocking his eyes, but I'm sure he's not blinking right now. He's just trying to hold on to that car and keep it right where he wants it, waiting for the push from behind.
This is the action at the front of a pack. At the back of a pack, I can tell you Jared Mogard is starting to lose a draft. He's got a bit of damage onto the front of his number 15 machine, so he'll be hoping for a quick caution, and that could happen. Look how close we're getting to William Schwindenhammer there, riding on the back of Justin Rideout's number 8 machine.
Yeah, he's really pushing the limits there. Good, clean, getting right up there. I'm sure he's making him very, very nervous getting that close. Because one little move down just a little bit too much, and he's going to kind of get bumped, and it could be disastrous. But looking great here, 3 lines wide. GSRC on the back of the car, love it. And we got some great racing here with 20 to go.
Coming to 19 laps left to go as they go through the tri-oval one more time. Still 3 wide. It's basically been this way since the restart, honestly, for about the last 3 or 4 laps. And we'll see how much longer they can keep this up, because right now none of the lanes seem to have an advantage.
Yeah, they're only really getting an advantage when they come down the back straight here, if they can get themselves lined up. Gets a little, it gets a little out of shape there through the corners. Scott Crump kind of tucking off the line there, trying to maybe give a bit of a, tunnel push there to the car in front.
Sorry, Johnson got the wall at the back there, the Black Mountain Dew car. Ryan Johnson got the wall, and Randall Nichols had to back out to not cause a big wreck.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a few cars here kind of tucking below that yellow line there, which is something you got to really be careful of, because the transitional of the track can really upset the car. It doesn't matter what kind of car you're driving. You get underneath that yellow line, it can upset the car and make the rear end slip out a little bit. And best case scenario, you lose a bit of momentum. Worst case scenario, the rear end just completely lets go on you, and we see that nasty yellow come out as we come around here. We're going to have 17 to go.
And working their way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Of course, all this 3 wide running is great for the drivers up front, but the drivers at the back, if they want to make a move to get to the front, there's not a whole lot of places they can go. With all 3 lanes kind of being stagnant, they can't really gain any positions to get up there. And Justin Rideout going to go all the way down to the bottom now. He's got the track to himself, and he's going to try and control the lanes behind him.
Yeah, I kind of left that 3rd lane out to dry. You can see them dropping back there as he dropped down, but here they come. Here comes Jacob Manning on the middle lane. They got nicely hooked up there down the straight, try and contest for this lead here. But Justin did, pick the right moment to move. Kind of killed the momentum of that outside line, but you can see they're getting it back here now, and they're going to try and come up and contest, but I don't know if they've got enough cars to really put it to this 1st and 2nd lines here.
Well, they're going to try. They got those 2 Mountain Dew cars lead in the high line as Justin Rideout gets a bit of a bad bump and goes below the apron. That's going to slow the bottom lane down.
Yeah, definitely going to cause everybody to check up. Yeah, but it didn't lose a lot, fortunately, and you can see just how quickly that bottom line sorted themselves out. Whoa, that was a very, very tight move. It looks like he might get hung out here to dry when he tried that.
4 wide, that's William Schwindenhammer. Got 4 wide, and there they go.
Wow. Oh, Oh, no, there we go. In the back of the pack, it sent everybody else off.
Yeah, no caution though. That's Jordan Berube in the 22 who really got bounced around there. This does break the second half of a pack up, just like that incident earlier did.
Yeah, have to see the replay there, but I'm sure there is somebody on the track that is really not happy with himself there, and I really need to see the replay before I say anything. But the instigator of that incident, I don't think he really wanted to do that.
Yeah, it was William Schwindenhammer, I think, he'd had a couple of loose moments in the laps building up to it, and he was the one kind of getting hung out to dry, 4 wide, and then they just didn't have enough room when they went into turn 3. By the way, the reason, and we'll get a replay here, the reason we were showing Daniel Eberhardt there as we look back down on the lead pack is Daniel Eberhardt has lost the draft. And there you go, you can see they all drift up towards that high line. And, kudos to most of the field for keeping it straight. There's Randall Nichols, who has retired from the race, and Jordan Berube, who really got the worst of it.
Yeah, I definitely was Schwindenhammer getting up the track there and getting into the other car. It broke everybody up, but like I said, everybody seems to be gathered it up here. The top 10 still actually everybody just running all nice and in a line here, 2 lines. Got to probably took kind of the gas out of a few people saying, yeah, okay, let's hold off on the third line for a little while. But I was seeing some pretty intense side drafting mid pack, and it really doesn't surprise me that happened. Just really fortunate for them, caution didn't come out.
Yeah, so Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones have both lost the lead draft. There you see them in 12th and 13th, but look at the intervals next to their names. They're quite a ways behind this lead pack. That being said, they should have enough pace to be able to stay on the lead lap, I think, until a caution does fly, or maybe until the end of a race. And that this lead pack is getting back to it, double file, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're 3 wide again before too long. There we go, a couple of bumps going on down the back straight there.
Well, and the man who has received a lot of benefit from everything that has happened here tonight is Scott Crump. Sitting down in 5th in the championships, he has led some laps. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure everything out for the most led, but he is the highest championship contender right now. A win tonight would really put him in contention with Colin Daniel and Dylan, based on the way that their races are being very unfortunate tonight.
Yeah, and Scott Crump was starting to feel it a little bit when we interviewed him last week after Kentucky, as there's Seth Reed going up high on Justin Rideout for the lead now. And Scott Crump maybe, boy, I couldn't tell if Seth Reed was going to go up high and if Scott Crump was going to go under him. I'm sure Scott was wondering the same thing there. But Scott Crump got a bit frustrated with lap traffic last week at Kentucky. These points are starting to get in these drivers' minds. So this means a lot to him right now. Where Scott Crump is running is a good position, but there's still 11 laps left to go as across the line. Here we go. We're going 3 wide again.
Well, and as you mentioned, Scott Crump currently 58 points behind Dylan in the championship. Maximum 50 tonight. Will he get that? Probably not. But every single amount of points count. And again, like I said, with Daniel Eberhardt, Colin Weatherholt, near the back of the pack, they're not going to get a lot of points tonight. It's going to really allow him to get in there and battle for this championship in the next 2 rounds.
Well, they're not going to get a lot of points tonight right now, as things stand. But that being said, the yellow flag would, give them an opportunity to fix any repairs they might have gotten from that last incident and become part of a lead draft again. So don't count them out yet, because this lead pack is running tighter again, and there could very easily be another yellow in this final 10 laps.
Yeah, and they've given us some scary moments here without a caution tonight as they come through 3 and 4 here. We do it coming down to 10 to go, and I expect to see things pick up a little bit here. Some drivers going to want to move forward, and especially Scott Crump would definitely love to put another win underneath his belt. Can't speak. Jacob Manning would. Oh, there you go.
Oh, they were trying to get by the lap cars, and Jared Mogard gets spun, so this is going to take drivers in the lead pack out. And Seth Reed, think he got away without too much damage there. And this is going to give Eberhardt and Jones a chance to catch up.
Well, and this is going to put Crump, Weatherholt, and Manning. Weatherholt, another contender in the championship, only 29 points behind Dylan Jones right now. So a win would do big for him in the point standings. So, two guys up in the top four or top five within the points going to be battling it out here as I believe, will come around after cautions with about 7 to go. And Jacob Manning, don't count him out. He's shown he can pull it together here when he needs to. And again, like I said, I think he'd really love to put a second win on his calendar for the year.
Getting a replay. So Jordan Berube and Jared Mogard were running around in damaged cars, and they were sticking to the inside lane. Apologies for the technical difficulties here. They were sticking to the inside lane, and there's Berube and Mogard. And we'll get another look here. Again, no major damage.
Yeah, managed to, not a lot of damage, but you can see there, just got up into the right rear quarter, Justin there, and he came down. Once you catch that apron, there's really nothing you can do. The car's, you're holding on because of the way the track transitions there, and just slides him back up the track, takes the car that he was inside of, and just complete chaos after that.
I say no major damage. Obviously, there is some damage for several drivers. And the bad news for the likes of Justin Rideout means even though he'll be able to get that damage repaired, and also Seth Reed, even though he'll be able to get that damage repaired, they'll be sent to the back of a field while they're getting their repairs and have to do a little bit of work to get back up there. Don't know who you can really blame for that incident. I've got to confess, I'm surprised the lap cars were staying down low. They were 3 wide behind them. The smart decision there for the lap cars would have been to have gone up high toward the wall. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see if anyone gets any kind of penalty from that. So I don't think Seth Reed came in. He's definitely got a bit of damage, but I guess he's assuming track position is more important right now.
While light's still on the pace car come around, if they go out the next round, that'll be 6 to go. So, 6 lap shootout. Is it worth it to go in and get any damage repaired when you can finish up front, when there's cars behind you that probably have a lot more damage than you do? I'm not sure what kind of damage he's carrying, but definitely track position here as they come around while under caution. That 5-lap shootout, pitting probably isn't your best choice.
So let's take a look at our top drivers who are left here. That's Luke Smith in the 39 right now, up 13 positions from where he started. And, he hasn't necessarily been a front runner through the season, but he's up front where it counts here at Talladega. Scott Crump, this could be a big points day for him. This is hard to tell him, but he might not necessarily have to win this race. He might just want to take a second or a third place with Eberhardt and Jones still there outside the top 10. Colin Weatherholt, likewise, good points day for him up there in third right now. The likes of Jacob Manning and Seth Reed behind them, not really racing for points. Jacob Manning looking for his second win this season. Seth Reed, he's got a little bit of damage on his machine, but he's still up towards the front. And so what can he do in these closing several laps?
Well, and the thing is Scott Crump behind Colin Weatherholt in the championship, so I'm sure he wants to finish in front of him. So kind of the battle within the battle, whether or not these guys are really thinking about points right now or just finishing this race. But he's definitely going to want to stay in front of Weatherholt here and trying to gain some momentum on him within the standings. But we've seen, Colin got his first win last week, and I'm sure he's going to want to do another one. He was very, very happy last week to finally get that first one out of the way.
17 cars on the lead lap. The only car left running who's not on the lead lap that's really still in contention is Jared Mogard. But reminder, the reason he had dropped out of the lead pack and was a lap car anyway was because he had substantial damage from an earlier incident. But if there was another caution, Mogard would get back on the lead lap and have 18 cars left on the lead lap. All right, so we already mentioned the top runners here are Luke Smith and Scott Crump, about to bring them to green with 6 laps left to go. We're looking back a bit further in the field there. The likes of Seth Reed restarting 5th, Daniel Eberhardt restarting 10th, Dylan Jones restarting back in 13th, Justin Rideout. He's been running up front a lot today. He'll be restarting back there in 14th.
Yeah, beneficial for all these guys that, these our championship contenders aren't going to want to settle for what they've got. They're going to want to move forward. They're going to want to try and salvage as many points as they can out of tonight, even though they've been, they've had a good race, just been caught out with some incidents, and they're going to want to grab everything they can here. As there goes the pace truck, and we're going to go back to green.
And there's a lot to lose for our points contenders as well, with 17, 18 cars still in contention. If you get caught in an incident, there's a lot of positions you could drop back. Even though we've had our fair share of incidents tonight, not a whole lot of attrition so far. What's going to happen, though, in the last 6 laps? Let's find out. We're back to green flag racing.
Good launch by Smith on the inside line there. Manning, everybody just, I think we're going to see some very rough racing here right now, because we did see with 20 to go, they were going 3 wide. They were swapping positions. They wanted to move forward. And now we're going to come around here on lap 6, come around with 5 to go, and drivers are going to want to move forward. Scott Crump's going to want to take a win. Jacob Manning, Colin Weatherholt, all these guys are going to contest, as we can see them start to feather out here 3 and maybe even 4 wide when we come down to 2 to 3 to go.
Yeah, that was the High Line who got the best restart there, and Scott Crump is leading them, but he's lost his drafting partner there. Jacob Manning dropped back a couple of car lengths, and so the momentum went from the High Line. So the inside lane is pulling ahead right now, with Luke Smith in the 39, leading Colin Weatherholt in the 20 down low. But here comes the middle lane. They've got their momentum back. There's a High Line as well, but there's still a few car lengths back. Daniel Eberhardt sticking his nose in there now. He realizes it's time to go, as they're 4 wide behind him. And man, there we go. Berube gets turned, and Dylan Jones is hard into the wall. The points leader is out of a race for sure.
Oh, that's good. And I mean, just Daniel Eberhardt, great on him. Shot that car forward. And, when he did start back there, and this is going to be a really unfortunate night for some of our championship leaders.
Dylan Jones is a big story here. He had about 20 points over his closest title rivals, but if that car's not there, and he is out, that's going to allow them all to close in on him.
Yeah, you see the smoke come out of that car. If it doesn't blow up before it hits the pits, it will blow up by the time he sits in the pits to try for repairs. So definitely going to be gutted about this tonight. And oh, jeez, what's he doing there? And wondering what's going on here.
Well, this might be a bit of a disagreement, because those were the two that kind of kicked off the incident. I wonder, and obviously you might be wondering, why is Jones still going around the track? That car obviously can't continue. He might be trying to complete the lap to see if he can beat positions, for anyone else who couldn't complete the lap. But the thing is, I think he's going to be the only car out of a race. I think everyone else is able to continue.
Yeah, with 3 laps to go, maybe trying to salvage and see if he can stay up there. But I mean, he's got a couple other cars behind him that if he goes into the pits and stops now, the best he can do is P19 for the night. So he's probably going to run around here, get himself to wherever iRacing is telling him to. But whether or not that engine's going to last and allow him to do that is the question right now.
We'll take a look at the replay, and Dylan Jones being given the penalty. What I will tell you is that Jared Mogard will get the lucky dog.
There was a car in the wall first. So who was that? Is that a lap car that got into the wall? That's Dean Gagliano. That's Dean Gagliano. So he got into the wall, and that bounced him down and started everything.
Yeah, but why is Jones mad? Why are Jones and Berube? Well, Jones got into the back of Berube, so that's why Berube was mad with him. But yeah, Dean Gagliano was in. Oh, and then
Oh my goodness.
yeah, he didn't realize that there was still oncoming traffic.
Yeah, so definitely caused by that car on the outside, 3 wide.
Going to ride on board Dylan Jones here, and we'll watch him get into the back of Jordan Berube, which is what Berube was mad about. Again, this is Dean Gagliano, the car that was high in the wall, and this is Dylan Jones. No, this is Dylan Jones navigating his way around the track.
Just our director trying to get it
Yeah.
here. Here we go.
Here we go.
So you got his there. We right on board through this incident here with Dylan Jones, and you can just see got up underneath. Everybody checking up. See the car ride right up the hood and hard into the wall. That definitely, you know, that engine would have been completely out of the car at that point. And then, yeah, I'm not sure who he's really mad at, or if there's anybody he could really be mad at this point, other than, as I said, the car that got into the wall there.
I think, well, it wasn't Jones who was mad. It was Berube who appeared to be mad with Jones, I think. And there is Jordan Berube getting these repairs done. I think the reason is Jones ran into Berube because Jones was trying to avoid the wreck above him. He might have not been looking in front of him. He might have been accelerating a bit to try and get in front of a wreck, and just got into the back of Berube. And I can understand why Jordan's upset because he's been running out there in the top 10. Jones is still trying to keep this car going, but yeah, he's going to be getting required repairs here now. I think a light should be going off on the pace truck.
Yeah, the lights are out on the pace truck, so we're gonna come around. We're gonna come around with a 2-lap shootout here. Hope for a white flag. Hope to see the white flag and bring this thing to the checkered.
Well, this is they only do one green-white checkered, so this is it. Like I say, if they make it to the white flag, a good news on iRacing is that means we'll race to the checkered. But if a caution does come out before we get to the white flag, that's it. The race is over.
Is this the green-white checkered? Because we went under caution with 5 to go. Okay. Sometimes I can never figure out how the green-white checkered actually foils in.
Yeah, no, an iRacing notification saying this is a green-white checkered. So the bad news you see there for Dylan Jones is all those laps he just did under yellow aren't going to account for anything, because surely he's gotten required repairs there, so he's not coming back out. And he's dropped to 18th, and 19th place is 14 laps down. So Dylan Jones is going to finish this race in 18th position. That doesn't necessarily mean, though, that the likes of Eberhardt are going to gain, a whole bunch of points on him. Eberhardt and Weatherholt and Crump still have to finish this race.
Yeah, they have to finish, and like I said, all 3 of these guys in championship contention. The win is more points. Second and third don't get the same points as first, so all 3 of them are going to be there. But Luke Smith, who's done a great drive tonight, he's going to try and just keep them all behind him. But I expect to see Jacob Banning and Joshua Suss maybe try and make a move third lines and get up front as the pace truck gets ready to pull off here, and we're going to go back to green.
Yeah, I think we still have 17 cars now all on the lead lap, all ready for this shootout. With Jared Mogard back there in 17th, and most of them will have their damage repaired. So here we go. It's 2 laps. This is the last restart of a race with Luke Smith and Scott Crump up in first and second place on the low line and the high line respectively. We're getting back going here. Colin Weatherholt already right on the back of Luke Smith. Already you see Drew Ballesteros in the 54 making a third lane. Let's see if anyone goes up there with him.
Yeah, very, very clean start by the front 6. Colin Weatherholt got right underneath the bumper of Smith there. I'm sure he does it. He wants the win, but you can see the damage on that car there. So even if he can kind of maintain where he is, he'll be happy. But Daniel Eberhardt giving a big push to Scott Crump on that outside line as they get sorted out there a little bit and get a little bit of a run on that inside line.
Yeah, Bo Tiffany was doing bump draft into a car that had nowhere to go, and that got a little bit sketchy there in turn 3. By the way, shout out to Bo Tiffany. He was racing for that lap back earlier on, and now he might be racing for the win by the end of this. Come on, guys, let's make it to the white flag. Let's have a clean race to the end. Yes, we take a white flag, and it is Scott Crump leading up high. Oh, they're wrecking, but we're going to keep going.
Yeah, wrecking in the back, but they're going to keep on going here. I'm sure you're going to see, Colin Weatherholt and Daniel Eberhardt all trying to make a move here when they get into 3 and 4. Not conducive to do it right now. You'll just lose all your momentum. But coming out of 3 and 4, this is going to get interesting with these championship drivers, all second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, well,
and
they're all
Smith wanting the win.
And that's what I'm thinking Smith has going for him right here, is Eberhardt, Crump, and Weatherholt don't want to do anything too stupid because they all know they can make up a lot of points on Dylan Jones right now. Eberhardt goes up high, Scott Crump getting a little sideways, but no one challenging Smith as they crash at the line. Luke Smith wins at Talladega.
Wow. I bet he's happy with that. I don't know what happened at the end there. Looks like somebody just lost it. And unfortunately, took it. I'm seeing Lewis is taking third place, who I believe the car that came up the track. So Daniel Eberhardt dropped back to fourth. Crump dropped back to fifth. Wow, what a finish.
Yeah, Crump was definitely dropping back in that middle line there. So like you say, Eberhardt, Crump and Lewis all got together there at the finish line, but they were crossing the finish line as they were crashing. And William Schwindenhammer got disqualified there on the final lap. He might have gotten involved in too many incidents that drops him all the way to the back. Bo Tiffany, Jordan Berube and Justin Rideout also with poor finishes. So I'm guessing that they were the ones who were kind of in that wreck on the final lap there. You can see Luke Smith is very happy, and we'll have a chance to talk to him in just a few moments here on GSRC. He's about to get a bump, I think, from is that Ryan Johnson, the Team Mountain Dew car? I believe it is. All right, well, we're gonna take a break. Well, we're going to let Luke Smith celebrate. He's going to do the Polish victory lap, it looks like. And we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with drive interviews and the full race rundown here on GSRC as Luke Smith lights them up, winner here at Talladega. Hello and welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway, where we just witnessed round number 18 of a Rolling Thunder Racing Series. Tonight's race being presented by Bid Tracer. And we're going to run down the finishing order here for you tonight as Luke Smith, for the first time this season, becomes our 8th different winner here in the Rolling Thunder Racing Series. And then right behind him were several points contenders, with Colin Weatherholt placing second, Daniel Eberhardt was in fourth, and Scott Crump was in fifth. In between them, John Lewis got a solid third place finish. Seth Reed finishes in sixth position, ahead of Joshua Suss and Jacob Manning in eighth. Jared Mogard and Brenton Barker were rounding out our top 10. There you see 8 cars still really left there in the draft when they came across the line.
Yeah, and we've got in 11th place is Ryan Johnson. Behind him, Dean Gagliano in 18th, Jordan Berube in 13th. Justin Rideout finalizes in 14th place tonight, and Bo Tiffany, the last car on the lead lap, in 15th. 16th and 17th, Williams Schwindenhanner, Drew Ballesteros, 1 lap down. And then our other cars laps down. Unfortunately, Dylan Jones caught up in that last wreck, really put him to the back of the field in 18th. Randall Nichols in 19th, and Michael Larch in 20th.
And then Lane Doyle and Matthew Robinson were multiple laps down, and so they'll be 21st and 22nd in the final ranking today. They're people who will want to forget tonight's race. Let's talk to the people who will want to remember tonight's race, starting with Luke Smith. We'll get Luke Smith in here in just a moment. Luke, congratulations on your race win here tonight. It wasn't a lucky win. You were there controlling the field for most of those final stages.
Yeah, thank you. That was crazy.
Was it reassuring knowing that a lot of the drivers behind you were points racers and probably going to be playing it safe in the closing laps?
It wasn't necessarily reassuring. I mean, I would just kind of put myself in a position with guys that I know I've raced well around or with throughout the season, and I knew that given the opportunity, they wouldn't do some crazy move or something. They would just stay committed and, help a brother out, get to the finish line.
So both you and Ryan Johnson were working together. You both race Mountain Dew cars. I'm assuming your teammates. But Johnson got a piece of a wall there, didn't he, in the closing laps? Is that kind of what broke you up?
Yeah, we got broken up. We formed a third line there, and there was a wreck, but there was no caution for it. I think someone tried to shoot it 4 wide, and Ryan was the first car involved in it, and he was right behind me. And after I saw that wreck, I tucked in behind Crump and just kept on going. Had to get the win for Ryan.
So is Talladega, Daytona, these restrictor plate races, are they tracks you normally feel that you perform well on?
Usually no. Usually I get caught up in a wreck at the end of it, but I mean, both restrictor plate races this season, I mean, at Daytona I finished third and I won here, but I guess I love the racing until it gets crazy, and then it's just usually it ends in disaster for me, but somehow I avoided all the disaster tonight.
Well, you brought home the W here tonight, and so that's something to hang your hat on at the end of the season. How has this season been as a whole for you? Are there areas where you feel like you've improved, or goals that you set yourself?
Yeah, my goal was at least to finish top 10 in points, and right now I think I'm sitting right in 10th. So, I mean, I hit my goal there, but I definitely feel like I can be more consistently competitive, like running in the top 5 and all that stuff. I just have to improve. Like early in the season, I struggled really badly with strategy, and as we've gone on here, I've kind of adapted what my strategies were and figured it out in a way that, I'm actually able to hang in the top 10, sometimes in the top 5 and make it out pretty good.
Well, we got 2 more races left to go this season. What are your goals there? And is anyone you'd like to thank for your win tonight?
First off, I'd like to thank you guys. You guys put on a great broadcast. GSRC, you guys are great. The other sponsor for the race, BitTracer. Uh, I love the fact that we have sponsors for this league and we're able to bring stuff in and help out with the funding of the league and all that. I'd like to thank Ryan for working with me the whole race. Randy and Josh also. Josh Suss and Randy Nichols, they were helping out too. And I'd like to thank Colin for that great push there on the green white checkered. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have gotten to the front to avoid some of those wrecks, and I definitely wouldn't have been in the position without him pushing me. So yeah, last thank you is to the guy that paints me and Ryan's cars, John Peterson. He does a fantastic job for us, and just puts us in good looking schemes. And when you look good, you drive good.
Well, we appreciate the thanks there. Luke, congrats on the win. Enjoy watching the broadcast back. We had you on camera crossing the line. We could tell you were happy.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was your race winner here tonight at Talladega Super Speedway, Luke Smith. And Robert, you have called up with second place finisher Colin Weatherholt.
Well, Colin, great run tonight from, starting back in 17th, going up 14 positions, taking P2. Not without its controversy tonight, but how did you feel your performance was tonight?
I don't know about performance. It's just super speedway racing, right? So I'll second place feels like a win. I'll say that much.
Well, definitely an advantage for you, with some of the, Dylan not having a good night. Definitely an advantage for you taking some serious points home tonight. Unfortunately, didn't get that second win, but right there on that second step again, keeping you in contention. What are you looking forward in Phoenix to maybe even take the lead in the championship?
Yeah, Phoenix should be fun. It's nice. Hopefully the points tightened up a little bit there and can finish out these last 2 races with some good performances and possibly take home the championship. That'd be awesome.
Well, Luke there gave a huge shout out to you for giving him a push there on the last lap. Did you have any thought of maybe trying to get around him, or were you just content of finishing this one off and pushing him across the line first?
I wasn't gonna try to make any crazy move just to be on the safe side, right? I saw Dylan was having a rough night, so I was happy with second if I could push a first time winner across the line, especially somebody that's not quite up in the top 3, 4 fight with us in points. So congrats to him and glad I could help him out.
Well, and finishing in front of Dylan, and you finished in front of Daniel tonight, so definitely going to put you right back in there for the championship. Look forward to seeing you in Phoenix. Anybody you want to thank tonight before we let you go?
Yeah, big thanks to you guys and Justin Rideout for the whole Rolling Thunder Racing series setup. It's a lot of fun, and thanks to my sponsors, HB Racing, Bones Motorsports, TZO Tires. Lots of fun. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, great watching you, and we look forward to seeing you maybe get that second win in Phoenix.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy the P2, and we'll see you next week.
And then lastly, we've called up with our third place finisher here tonight, John Lewis, in the number 37 car. John, that was an eventful final lap for you. I think you started it in 7th place and finished it in 3rd and was sideways across the finish line.
Yeah, I think I owe Scott a little bit of an apology. I was pushing Weatherholt pretty hard and drifted up a little bit and caught him and got a top 3 finish. I probably really didn't earn.
I mean, you were in front of him when you came up, it looked like. I mean, I can understand, his review of the incident across the line, but still looked like an impressive final lap from you and a solid finish. All the incidents aside, this is probably a good night for you.
Oh, I couldn't be more happy. Justin puts on a great league, and you guys at the Global SimRacing Channel, putting out these broadcasts is just fantastic, and I couldn't have more fun. But these guys are really good, Probably the only time I can be competitive is at a plate track like this because it's pack racing. And but yes, it's good to get a third place finish for sure.
You say, talking about being competitive here at the oval tracks. Do you have goals for this season, or you're just out here for fun?
No, I got some goals to always keep improving. But these guys are really good racers, as you can see when you get them on the other oval tracks and stuff like that. They are just light years ahead of myself. But Justin has another league. It's going to be a truck league. I'm going to race in that, and I'm just delighted to get a good finish, and for you guys for putting out an excellent broadcast for everybody to enjoy.
Well, we appreciate that. Do you have anyone you'd like to thank, sponsors that were riding on your car tonight?
Well, that's my grandson painted that car for me. He's really big into into victory fuel. So I'm not all that great on a computer, and thanks to the Global SimRacing Channel for putting on these great races and broadcasting them for everybody and their families and stuff to enjoy.
Well, we appreciate it, John. 2 more races left to go this season. We wish you the best as you continue to keep improving, but nice solid third place for you tonight.
Thank you, sir. You guys take care and appreciate it.
All right, well, that was John Lewis, our third place finisher. Well, Robert, it's kind of bittersweet in the moment because we appreciate Dylan Jones coming to talk to us throughout the season. He's raced a fantastic season. He's been great talking to us here at the GSRC. But at the same time, the fact that our points leader was caught up in a wreck at Talladega and the other championship contenders weren't, I think is going to give us an interesting championship scenario with just 2 races remaining.
Yeah, once points are sorted out tonight, only another 100 points available, but big 100 points for some drivers. Dylan Jones, just the last 2 races just really have not come together for him, and I'm sure he's going to really tighten the belts coming into Phoenix and want to keep himself in that top spot. Looking forward to some great racing next round.
2 races left to go at Phoenix and Homestead, and we don't know who is the champion that we'll be crowning in a couple of weeks' time. Well, we would like to thank all of the competitors and the organisers in the Rolling Thunder Racing Series for putting on today's event and giving us a great show. Thanks to the team today, Robert, Christian and Dougie. Make sure to check us out on social media as well as our website and merchandise store, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss another moment here on GSRC. Again, our next race for this series will be the same time next Sunday night as we head to Phoenix. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on your screen, so check those out, mark them down in your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. As a matter of fact, for a lot of these racing series, it will be the season finale for them, especially these ones where it's saying round 12 following the official iRacing series. Hey, I'll be in that race. Alright, but until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Yeah.